C2C Stamping, and I am glad you're here. Glad I'm here too. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Let me grab something. Hold on. Oh, thought I had this here. Okay. All right. So today I want to show you a couple of cards from the Gathering Moments and the really, really pretty Gathering Moments, Gathering Autumn designer series paper, which is gorgeous. I'm gonna make sure that I can see us. If you're here, say hello. If you're watching the replay, if you could say that as well, that would be great. Because the more people that we have on the replay, the better it is, and the more odds I get of growing my channel and more people seeing us. So that's great. Gathering Moments is an online exclusive stamp set. I love all the sentiments and the fonts, and the little acorn and the mushroom are very, very cute. And then the die set that goes with it has two large leaf dies, and then they also have this stitching die. So a die that will poke little tiny holes in your paper. And I'm going to show you what to do with that. It also has dies that cut out all of these pieces. So the mushroom and the acorn and the leaves, so that you can add like layers and textures. I actually haven't used any of those dies. I have only focused on the big dies. And honestly, I mean, they're the whole reason I got the set. So judge me all you want, but sometimes I just want, I want to die because, I want a set of dies for a certain reason. When you run this, you can run them both through together, and you can tape them together like this so that it makes it easy to run them through. I'm going to stick those guys in there. And then I'm going to show you a couple things you can do. Oops. Dogs are barking. They always bark when there's lots of people out back. So I actually did this with the seniors at my senior center class, and most of them persisted through the stitching process. So I'll show you what that looks like. But this is a basic beige note card or card. I've just cut a strip off the front, and then we put a piece of the DSP here, and then some of that plaid DSP there, which is really, really pretty. We made this at Retreat. Right now we have a couple of twines that you could use for this. We have the new Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread. We have our original linen thread. And then we also have like the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, which has like a vanilla and a white and also black gray and something else, but I don't remember what it is. Because this is like a 5-pack of twine, I usually use it down until I'm finished, and then, I'll buy a new one. Linen thread's like $5, so it's like incredibly affordable for 10 yards, I think. No, 15 yards. So this does take a yard of thread. So you would need a full yard in order to make one of these. So that was a yard. That was what I had left. So, all right. So when you when you die cut the leaf, what I would recommend you do is get some of these brace flossers. So they are for braces, and they're very, very thin. You can get them on Amazon, but you can also get them at, the grocery store, the drugstore, whatever. They're for your braces, to get in and out of your braces. And I would recommend, so for the seniors, I had them tie a knot on here because it would make it easier to hold tight, and it does kind of slip out if you don't do that. I definitely recommend that you tie a knot in the end. You can also glue it down, which is fine. So this isn't like you're sewing clothing that has to stay together, but So that's good. But you do want to make sure that you have a way to, knot it in the end and hold it down. So we've got that. We're going to come and we're just going to stitch forward. Oh. And then I like to go forward and back. So one of the reasons, it's a back stitch that you're going to use for this, and one of the reasons I like the back stitch, or one of the reasons I like the flosser, is that it's easy to get into the hole, and it's really easy to be able to, that's funny, I pulled the end through, to get in the hole even if there's something else there. So I'm going to go ahead and use my tape or my glue here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on the back of here to hold this piece down, and then I'll get my scissors in and I'll just cut that, and no one will ever see that. The only disadvantage to tying a knot on your needle, quote unquote, your flosser, is it makes it a little harder to get through the holes. So it's just a little thicker, that knot, to kind of pull through. And I've seen a lot of crazy stitching, but it's not hard. And this one goes down, they go down. I think somewhere at the end, people get tired and maybe get a little creative. But the main piece is just a back stitch. But see how we've already got two pieces coming through here? So it would be really, really hard to do this with anything other than the flosser. But it's so, so tiny that we're able to get in there and get that stitched. And then I'm just gonna come up to the next one and keep going. Sometimes I'll get a little knot on this side, and I just have to kind of, like, it furls itself up into a little knot. So I just have to be patient. All right, so while I'm stitching this, and maybe I'll finish that later just so you can see some of the other designs, but you'll see when we get to the end, see how it kind of furls into, it does this often. It makes a little baby knot. I don't know how it does it. I just pull it until it comes apart, and then I keep going, okay? So that is that. So we've got, once you've got your piece, once you've got your leaf on the back, I mean, it's messy, but nobody sees it. So then I just glued it down and kind of tacked it on both ends, and I could trim that off if I wanted to, but nobody's gonna see it. Although maybe they will because of that edge. So maybe I will trim it off. So you can, arch it this way or arch it this way, but definitely, hang it over the edge a bit and don't put your dimensionals back there. A couple other card ideas. This one that has the embossing folder. So there's a really nice large embossing folder that goes with this suite. Here is this, but with the early espresso stitching, so you can kind of see, the difference. And then this one has all the papers, all the pretty papers. What I like about the paper is that there's basically, I think there's 4 pieces. So there's a piece that has the Cajun Craze and Early Espresso and Basic Beige. Then there's a piece that adds some yellow, so some crushed curry, but the background of it is Basic Beige. So you get 2 full sheets of this 12 by 12, 2 full sheets of this 12 by 12. And then they add green and you get 2 full sheets of this one, 12 by 12. And this one has a lot of like really cute mushrooms and stuff in it. So it's a very fun paper. I love it a lot. This one has the same texture as the embossing folder, so that's nice. There's a wood grain piece and then a fun green stripe. And then this is the other card that I made, and it's a gatefold. And I just used the DSP as the card base and stamped a little acorn on the inside. And there we go. So that's a fun card to use the DSP as the card base. And then the last thing I made this weekend was a gratitude journal. We're going to work on that in our family next month because sometimes it's hard, you know. We got an email today from Stampin' Up. They send us a weekly email, and there's always something inspirational or motivational in there. And it was talking about Simon Sinek's like circle of control and circle of influence, things you have control over and things you don't, you know. And so by focusing on our gratitude, we can focus on the things we can control. So I thought this was a fun journal. So it's just one of those little cheap journals that you can get. There's lined and unlined on Amazon. And I added some of the DSP and then some of the leaves. I wanted to do one with stitching where I didn't stitch. Although this one would look, it's with the DSP, it would look really cool with the dark color in there. And then I used some of the new rub-ons, the metallic rub-ons in gold. Thought those were really fun. So I used like the sprinkles down here, and then the stripe, and then the big swoosh. Very shiny, very fun, and then of course expressing heartfelt gratitude. I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. I hope that this gives you some inspiration and you kind of see the path forward for using this set. It is a ton of fun. I have stitched several of these now. I don't mind stitching or sewing. It's not, you know, my mom used to do cross stitch and like a lot of cross stitch. And I will say it gets easier as you go because you have less extra twine that you're fussing with. So, and it does tend to get a little furled up like that. But as you go, it gets a little bit easier. And I don't know, I find it pretty relaxing. I don't know that I would make like 20 of these, but I think they're fun. I do think it's easier if you have your fingers like near the point of where you're trying to insert it. It helps to guide it through, and it also helps to keep the paper kind of straight. You don't get as much bend on the paper. Same goes when you're kind of pulling it through. I've got my hands here, both to kind of like fight the paper and also to guide it through. And then I also try to, when I pull it through, I try to hold where the twine is on the loop, on the flosser, so that it doesn't come loose. So that's my other strategy. I do find I get caught on the stem quite a bit when I'm down at this end of the leaf. And then as I work my way towards the top of the leaf, it's not such a big deal. I'm out of the stem. But yeah, this is a fun activity. If you have this die, I highly encourage you to use it. I think it creates really nice textural cards. And I hope that this was helpful. If you've been considering this set right now, there's free shipping. And this suite would definitely qualify you for free shipping, and I think you should consider it because it's a beautiful set. You could make a lot of really fun things with it. So I hope that you have a great week. I am still kind of recovering from our big retreat that we had this weekend. And I will be opening the retreat to those who have attended before this weekend. And then I'll be opening it to the public on November 1 for 2026. So I've already got the dates all set and locked. and I'm really excited to be going back and doing another retreat. I do often events that mock or mimic the retreat experience. One of them is my 12 Days of Christmas, and I will be announcing that soon. And so that's a really fun class. And that takes place the 12 days after Christmas. And you get a gift to open every day of the 12 days, and we make projects, and it's really fun. So hope to have you in a craft class soon. If you have any questions or you want to get on my newsletter, please message me, c2c stamping at gmail.com. You can find me at C2C Stampin' on both Instagram and Facebook as well. And on my website, c2cstampin.com, or c2c.stampinup.net if you want to place an order. Free shipping through Friday on orders that are $75 or more. So thanks so much. I'll keep working, and I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.